Good morning, guys. I am Greg Madron. I'm the practice manager for the American Family Care Clinic down on Cedar Bluff and Kingston Pike, right in the corner where the two meet. The clinics were started about 30 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Bruce Irwin, who was one of the pioneers of urgent care medicine. And they've been kind of rolling ever since. We have about 64 clinics that are corporate owned. We just bought out a franchise called Doctors Express, and we're revamping those to reflect the American Family Care name. We offer walk-in services. We also see folks for primary care as well. Usually with, I don't want to say really complicated patients, because those we think you really need a primary care doctor that's going to be with you probably for the rest of your life. We do deal with things like high blood pressure, and if you don't have a family doctor, you need somebody to monitor that. We're the people you can come to do that too. The great thing about us, you don't have to have an appointment. You can walk in and be seen, and we see everything from birth to death. So anything that walks in through the door, we try to take care of it. And if we can't, we get you to people that can do it for you. So, but what I'm here to talk a little bit about today, being that this is a school, is colds, flus, strep, and probably when is the best time to make sure your child stays at home. Yeah, because we know that there are a lot of parents out there that want to get the kids to school because they want them to get that education. But at the same time, it's not really good if the child is sick, because all that's going to create is a problem for other kids, other parents, all right? So the first thing I'm going to talk about this morning is just a little disclaimer. All right, so the following are only a small list of some of the common illnesses that children or adults can have. If you or anyone in your family is experiencing any of the symptoms mentioned in the following discussion, then please seek medical care or call your healthcare provider for further advice. The first thing we're going to talk about is allergies. All right, so I don't know if you guys have any allergies. Okay. And you know that there are different ways to deal with those allergies, right? Okay, so everything from taking Zyrtec to getting allergy shots. So it depends on the severity of that. Kids are the same way. They get allergies. So there's different ways for them to deal with it too. What happens is that your body creates defenses against things that it deems problematic and things that are harmful. And it's actually things that are not really harmful. So they're still doing a lot of research to find out why that is. Dust. A lot of people are allergic to dust. A lot of people are allergic to cat dander, dog dander. As a matter of fact, my daughter, who has 2 dogs, is actually allergic to those dogs. But she takes things for that allows her to cope with that so she can keep those in the house. Generally, when you have allergies, you don't really run a lot of fevers. If you do, it's just your body's natural reaction to whatever it deems as a danger. Okay.
So you can run a fever with allergies.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah, anytime. Your body is kind of funny about things like that. It creates all kinds of defenses to deal with things that it's not supposed to be there, or that it feels it's not supposed to be there. So you can.
Well, the new year, it just causes complications.
Yes, it really does.
Chest fear.
Yeah, and a cough. You'll pick up a cough too. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about with the other things, flus, colds, things of that nature. A cold is a viral infection, okay? And you're going to pick a cold up much the same way you pick up the flu. So if you're breathing in what people are putting out, and we all know that guy, right? Doesn't cover his mouth, touches everything, that's how you're going to catch that cold, because it is a viral infection. Now, as far as I know, to date, there is not an antibiotic that will take care of a viral infection. And the problem we have as a society is that a lot of docs over the years have thrown antibiotics at viruses because we demand it. We demand to be treated for it. And so they throw it at it, it's not effective, and it actually hurts us in the long run, because then we become immune to those antibiotics, and so do the viruses. And that's how the superviruses get started. Some of the more common side effects can include a runny nose, sore throats, coughs, watery eyes, sneezing, and congestion. In fact, because many of the more than 100 viruses can cause the cold, signs and symptoms tend to vary greatly. So there's hundreds of viruses that can cause a common cold. Colds rarely have a fever or headache. Okay? Most people recover from a common cold in about a week or two, and if symptoms don't improve, obviously you want to go see your doctor because it may be more than just a common cold. I mentioned earlier flu is also a virus. Most people get the flu when they breathe in tiny airborne droplets that somebody has coughed out. I know it sounds gross, doesn't it? You know, we're breathing in all kinds of stuff every day we just don't even realize.
Well, I don't think about the droplets as much as I do hand to like your eyes or mouth. Like that's what I thought was, I didn't think
The
about
biggest thing.
airborne stuff as much.
Yeah, but you do breathe that in. If you've got a person standing in front of you and they're coughing, you're going to get those little droplets that are going to just fly out into the air that you're breathing in. A good rule of thumb: when you cough into your sleeve. You know, if you cough here, then you're not going to have to worry about this touching everything else.
I just told my kids to do that you tell the kids over and over.
Yeah.
To do it.
And it's, you know, for us, I mean, we've had years to learn that, so it's going to take them some time to get a handle on that as well. The great thing about kids is they like to share things too. So, you know, one of the really good ways to catch the flu and strep, which is another thing I'm going to talk about in a minute, is by sharing things, drinking after each other, eating after each other. And kids don't have the same idea of how gross that really is. I mean, you know, as you get older, we realize how gross it is, but they just don't have that concept just yet. Most people get the flu when they breathe in the airborne droplets from the coughs or sneezes of someone who has the virus, or by touching something with the virus on it and then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. Okay? Flu symptoms can start quickly, most of the time in as little as 2 or 3 days. It spreads easily and can affect a large group of people in a very short amount of time. Now, I can tell you right now, as a clinic manager and somebody that's actually worked as a medical assistant for the last 18 years, I know when school starts. And I don't know when school starts because I see the school buses. I know when school starts because that's when we start seeing the colds, the flus, the streps. Because once you get the kids together, it's almost like a big cauldron, and they're just mixing all that stuff up. And yeah, and unfortunately, this is one of the things I used to like to tell about one of the physicians I used to work for. He could work around sick people all day and never get anything. His kids could come home with something, and in 3 days, he was down. So I don't know if kids are little super mutation factories. They will take something, and with them, you know, you'll see them running around. They'll have 102 temperature, and they'll be out here running around just like nothing's wrong. They'll give it to us. We'll have 100-degree fever, and we'll be out.
Well, if you can all remember back when your children were in kindergarten and first and second grade, that's probably when we were the sickest as well, because they would bring something home and we would get it, and it was horrible.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they do to it when they get it, but it doesn't look anything like it did when they had it. I've seen that with a lot of other folks too that have children.
When Thomas is here now, I used to do clinic volunteer at Bluegrass, and when I started, because some parents want to go to the library, I can't stand the library, I find it too boring. And so I did the clinic, and let me tell you, exposed to all those germs, somehow everybody was out except me, and I think I created that whole era of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we see that a lot in ours. As a medical assistant working on the clinical side of things. Now, I was just telling you that I moved back home back in May. Before that, I was a practice manager for a really busy urgent care in Richmond, Indiana. And I didn't really get sick as a practice manager because I wasn't dealing hands-on with the patients. The job I'm in now, even though I'm a clinic manager, I actually do the clinical work as well. So it's going to take me time to build up that immunity like I used to have. And as you can tell, It hasn't been working too great just yet because right now I'm still coming down off of something, which I'm assuming is a cold. But yeah, you do. If you're exposed to it long enough.
Yeah, and I said, everybody is getting sick. And so it was just weird because my husband goes, no, I'm around throw up, go good, when they were little. All kinds of stuff. And I used to go every Wednesday.
Sure.
And in the morning. And then for a while I said, wow, something, and I didn't, it was just odd. And I think it's just being exposed to all those germs.
Well, and when
Well,
I,
think yourself conscious to your, doing
Yeah, I had
sanitizer,
certain-
washing your hands,
Yeah.
whereas your child, your first instinct, at least for me, is to comfort them, so
Right.
right there on them.
And you
get-
have to have, Thomas gets home, wash your hands, take off your shirt, change your clothes.
oh, you're giving this a good idea.
Wash your
I'm
hands,
having
he
to change
washes his
my
hands,
clothes.
well, I learned, wash your hands, wash your face, take your school clothes off, and he puts what I call his plate. He hates for me to say that, but his beat up t-shirts.
Wow.
Sure.
Because all that snotty stuff is, so and in the clinic, the children, even if they came in for a little Band-Aid, wash your hands. Oh, I just wash your hands. I would have them wash their hands when they went in, wash your hands when they leave out, and I would sanitize, get my little Lysol thing, sanitize. So you have certain routines that help you. So I learned a lot in that clinic, I'm gonna tell you, with all those throw up and boogers. Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah, you can learn a lot in that. But one of the greatest things that medicine has come across in the last 100 years is the hand washing. Ultimately, the best thing in the world to keep you from getting sick, or at least help prevent that from spreading it anyway. All right, let's see here. You guys, I'm sure have heard of the stomach flu as well, right? There is no such animal as a stomach flu. There is a stomach virus, but it's actually, that's all it is. It's just a virus. It has nothing to do with anything else, even remotely related to the flu.
Comes out somewhere,
It does. Generally, though, you don't want that coming out up here, Usually with the flu, you're going to get the vomiting and the cough and all that stuff. With the stomach virus, you don't really want it coming up if you can help it. Strep throat is an infection of the throat and tonsils, and it's spread through contact with droplets after an infected person coughs or sneezes. Again, it's just that airborne airborne thing, touching things, without washing your hands. That's how you're going to get all of that. The most common symptoms of the strep throat includes a sore throat. It usually starts quickly and causes severe pain with swelling, a fever of 101 or above, red and swollen tonsils, sometimes with white patches or streaks of pus.
And it's bacteria.
It is actually bacterial, yes.
Okay, so, and I wanted to ask too about a quick strap versus the other, test. I mean,
Yeah, the one they have to run and call you the
Because-
next day.
yeah.
What's the
well-
difference?
Well, it's like, which one is most reliable? Because then you're like, well, the quick strap came back negative, but then I talked to parents that did something else, and then the one that grew longer, well, they did have strap. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know.
Well,
I
it
mean,
depends. There's different types of strep that you can get. That's why they do the culture.
Okay.
Yeah, normally in our office, when we do a quick strep, we automatically do a culture. You'll actually see us come in the room with 2 swabs together, and we swab.
Not everybody does that.
Yeah, they really should.
They really should.
Yeah, they really should. So what we do, and because it's really hard to get kids to go, to get back in there. So what we do is we combine the 2 together, do the swab, get as much as we can. We go back and do the quick strap, and then we do the other.
So they grow it, so the other one takes longer to grow.
Yes, it actually takes, I think, 48 hours. But now here's the other piece to that too. I'm pretty sure, and I'd have to check with my doctors just to make sure on that one, but if we do the 2 and the one comes back positive, the quick strap, we won't send off for the other one. We'll just go ahead and treat it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, plus it saves you another bill.
It
you know.
saves you money.
Right. So,
Because, yes, going back to CVS, I'm gonna go ahead and say that, is, I mean, and you have to pay for another visit.
sure.
And you're like, what is happening?
Right.
But I don't know the correct,
Because the first one could just be a sore throat. So
Could be, yeah.
Well, or it didn't grow out, or there is some kind of like, it's not as easily diagnosed as
Right.
you think.
Right, exactly. Well, and like I said, that's why we do the two. If we do it and we do the quick strep and nothing shows up, then we're going to send that other one off to the lab and have them test it further because it could be a different type of strep than what our kid actually tests for.
Well, and I hate going to the doctor because I feel like now we're gonna go pick up something else at the doctor's office. Those are a bunch of sick people there.
Right.
But you want to say the reason why you probably should go to the doctor is because they have a record of if your child has had strep for 6 times in 2 months, then there's probably reason that you need to work from that kind of record. Like if this kid has been that sick and had strep for 3 months, then maybe they need their tonsils out. But if you go to the doctor and you tell them, well, we've had strep for 6 times, but we've been going to CVS, well, this doctor doesn't know that, and now they don't have legit reason to take your tonsils
Well,
out.
it's not, oh, yes, I understand that, but it's more the misdiagnosis.
Sure.
Or undiagnosed, or, and not treated correctly the first time, and then we end up going back for a whole nother visit and a whole nother way, because they really should have been doing two.
Right.
To begin with.
Right. And a lot of,
Not all practices do two.
right, and a lot of offices do and a lot don't, so.
Well, and I tell you,
It's-
I mean, I'm not, I'm the work with the health and social officer, so that's what it's getting on it. So we've got nothing on record, but I'm terrible about that too. But yeah, I mean, not really, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like flu, all right? And I don't know if you guys have ever known anybody get a flu shot and then get the flu.
Yeah,
Okay,
I haven't.
but
It-
that's silly, what's no.
I've never.
yes and no. And the reason I say that is this.
Last year, what was it, the flu shot, only, the shot that came out was only effective 20% because the strain of the flu.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So it gets
Yeah.
complicated
It
because.
is.
Always.
So what?
But the other reason is that, okay, so the flu shots that we give in our office are good for influenza A and B, all right? But there's also a C, there's also a D, there's also an
That's
E.
what happened last year.
Yeah, so you take this flu shot, and the reason they do that, it's the most common type of flu that's around, okay? So everybody gets the shot, nobody gets A and B, but then you're going to have a small handful that's going to get the flu of another type. So,
It's not the flu shot that causes it.
right, exactly. The flu shot is not a live virus.
Thomas gets a flu shot because he has asthma
Right,
since he was little, and it's been wonderful for him.
But I'm
Right.
shocked at the number of people who still really believe
right.
that it causes the flu.
Or
Right.
they have something
I mean,
else, or they
It,
picked up something
it
else.
amazes me.
Yeah.
But it's still the chance you're taking to get the flu without having a flu shot, and then, it's like.
Exactly.
It's still like wearing, you could not wear your seatbelt, or you could wear your seatbelt.
You want to take that chance.
You want to take your chance, because,
Okay.
so you go talk to someone who actually has lost someone to the flu,
Yeah.
and didn't have the flu shot, you will always get your flu shot.
Exactly.
And so now that we're on flu shot, so Knox County, we have not gotten flu mist yet, so I'm trying to decide
Mhm.
if I'm gonna wait on Knox County or go ahead and get my children the flu shot, because what window, like, how long should I give Knox County before I get my kids the flu shot? I know,
A lot of people are different on that. Some people like to get their flu shots in October. I like waiting until November. I like waiting until November to get
my mom
mine.
likes to wait till November.
Yeah. And I think it's just the fact, and it's really a personal preference. I don't think it's really going to affect, 'cause it's supposed to be good for, the year.
But then I talk to medical people
Yeah.
who like to wait.
Yeah.
So it's probably, if we don't, I guess we're gonna get it. Is Knox County gonna get flu mist?
No, they say they are, but.
Yeah. And see, we don't even carry the flu mist where we're at. Ours is simply shots.
Well, it
Yeah.
didn't hurt. I'm gonna take, I'll
I'd
get
say
my
if your
mist.
kid's not totally, it's not gonna scar them for life to get the flu shot, and if you don't have to drag them in there and lay them down and strap them down to get a shot, if they're not that fearful, get them the shot.
But if
Yeah.
Knox County doesn't get it by December, then we'll come
So
and
what
get a flu
happens,
shot.
well, see, Thomas doesn't get the flu.
Well, there's a shortage, is what the paper said.
And that's what I've been hearing too, yeah.
Or do y'all have a shortage?
We haven't had it so far, but again, we've been doing the shots solely. So the flu mist itself, I don't know, we don't even carry that.
So that's a whole different supply,
Yeah.
the flu mist is.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and it's for people, I mean, there are even adults that will take a different route rather than get the shot because, you know, the needles, they don't
Do you
really
think
care
the
much about the
flu is
needles.
as effective?
I think you need something,
Okay.
you know.
But it's a live virus, that's the thing, the thing with the flu, that's
Right.
when people
That
are
is the
pregnant
live
or have
virus.
autoimmune issues.
Right.
They tell you to get away.
Right,
All the pregnant teachers are told to stay home that day because it's a live virus that's coming into an enclosed area.
right. And, you know, you do stand a chance of actually getting the flu with that.
Exactly, so
Really?
it's a,
Yeah.
I
yes,
did not know
yeah,
that.
the
Yeah.
flu, yeah, I'm up to date on all this, I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
she stays up
So
on
we
it.
need, so flu shot is probably the best.
The best way to go,
It's a
yeah.
live virus, Thomas can't have it, the doctor, he always has gotten the shot since he was little, because he
Right.
was upper respiratory.
But now, there are people out there that are so terrified of getting the shot that
And
they will
people
take the
with
live
autoimmune
virus.
problems
Right.
And pregnant women are told to put, my niece, she's at Bearden, and, she had a kidney transplant a year ago.
Right.
And so I'm very, because of her experience, I'm very aware of all that.
Mhm.
So live viruses and certain things, although she got, thank the Lord, she's healthy now, but she still has to be aware, because, you know, she could reject the organ. But
All right.
I learned so much going to Vanderbilt and just hanging out.
But at your clinic, you have the child, I mean, the pediatric.
Yes.
Like you, okay.
Yeah, we do, the dose that we have is actually from 6 months to 65, I think. And then anybody 65 or 64, and then anybody 65 and older needs a higher definition flu shot or a higher dose flu shot. And it's just because their immune system is so much weaker than, say, a 45-year-old man, so.
And do you do meningitis at your clinic too, meningitis, vaccine?
You know, I don't believe we do.
They told to stay home.
I don't believe we do.
You don't do meningitis?
Yeah, I don't-
What about shingles?
We do carry the shingles vaccine.
And what's your opinion on that? Because we did have our library volunteer did contract shingles.
Mhm.
And I have 3 friends now in West Knoxville that have gotten shingles. 3 healthy 40-year-old something people that have gotten shingles. Now, when I asked I'll go ahead and tell Mary Beth is the one that had shingles, and
Sure.
so I asked her about the vaccine, and the doctor was there. I guess there is a question on whether you should get the vaccine for shingles. What do you think?
Well, personally myself, I can't make any kind of personal,
Yeah.
about that, assessment about that. I would actually just say, talk to your doctor on that one, because everybody's opinion is going to be different.
It is.
Yeah. And even though
The
There
vaccine.
is a vaccine, so
There
there's
is a
supposed to
vac-
be, there is a
there is
vaccine
a
out there.
vaccine
Yes.
It's a matter of whether you should get it or not, yeah.
Right,
And
exactly.
there's a
Promote
big-
it on TV every time I'm
Well,
cooking.
there's a big question.
That's a new vaccine,
Shingles
right?
is
Yeah.
very painful.
Yeah, it is.
Horrid.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it makes me want to go get a
But you only get
vaccination.
shingles if you've had chicken pox.
More of the measles, isn't it measles?
It's just chicken pox.
Chicken pox, yeah, it's chicken pox. And I don't know about y'all, but I had chicken pox, so I'm a candidate, for shingles. But
Did you get the vaccine?
no, I have not gotten the vaccine. Honestly, and it's just simply because I guess in the whole time, in the 18 years that I've been working in the business, it's been like just a handful of people that I've seen that have actually gotten shingles.
Well,
So
apparently
that's
the-
probably
the
why I've
percentage
not.
As you get older.
But
it
see, I feel like
becomes
it's not though. These people, I kid you not,
It's stress.
40 years
I've heard
old in West Knoxville,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they had not been in a nursing home.
No, it's not that. I've heard that
I mean,
stress, it's your immune
But
system.
nursing homes are a great breeding ground for shingles. So if you go visit people in the nursing home, it's
Right.
it's scary. So I don't know. It makes me feel like it's here. It's like in West Knoxville somewhere.
But that's something internal, it isn't, it isn't.
Contracted?
Contracted, is it? It's an internal.
Right, right.
Problem with your immune system.
Well, now you can catch. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to go back and research this, but I think you can catch shingles.
See,
To wash your
well,
hands.
that's why you're vaccinated for it.
Right.
Because it's almost like it's almost like our original vaccine
Right.
has kind of run out, right?
That's something like that.
It's very confusing, I know, and because I'm like, it's
You're
so
breaking the
awful.
polls.
So,
It's okay.
anyway, but, okay.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, that's why I know my limits of what I can answer and what I
Well, no,
can't, so,
it's
you know.
good, but no, I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah,
I
no,
understand
not a
when
problem.
you can't, yeah, tell me exactly because it's so confusing.
Yeah.
Everybody reacts differently.
They do, and that's the other thing, and that's probably one of the things that your doctor's going to tell you too, is that everybody reacts differently. You're not even going to know how you're going to react until you get it. So,
Everybody reacts totally different. I come from a big family, and I see that.
Well, it's
Right.
very expensive, is the shingles vaccine is,
it is. I'm not sure. I can't remember what we charge for it, but yeah, it's not cheap at all.
Pharmaceutical company puts the commercials on TV 100 times. If I'm cooking, if I'm home that day, and it's incredible how they push it.
Well, and that's that's how they pay for those commercials too. That's why the vaccine's so expensive. But
that's what we have you here to kind of help us.
And with the population, we're living longer, and I think they're seeing more incidents, because the longer we live, the probability that you're gonna,
right.
so that's what's happening.
Well, and I was reading an article yesterday about the reasons why we're living longer, and hand washing was one of the big ones.
Really?
Sanitation, sanitation in food, sanitation in water. We've come a long way in 100 years. But like I said, hand washing, probably the top reason why we are able to do the things that we do
And
today.
that's an American thing, because when you travel, holy moly, it's a whole different world out there. They think you're crazy because you're walking around with hand sanitizer and Lysol wipes, disposable packaging.
Right. And the funny thing is, when I was a kid, I don't even remember sanitizer. When we were kids, we went out, we played outside, we ate dirt, we did all that stuff, and I don't remember we ever got sick. And now it's like, for whatever reason, things have gotten stronger, it seems, the viruses and things. Yeah.
There's a whole thing about that. They're stronger.
Yeah,
They're evolving, they're becoming stronger.
exactly, the super viruses. So, all right, I'll wrap this up, guys. No, I know there's nobody else waiting in the wing, but yeah, at some point today, yeah. So we're just going to run into the good rules of thumb on when to keep a child at home. If your child has a fever, 99 or higher, keep them home. Most schools will send them home at 99. They'll call them up and say, hey, your child's running a fever, come and get them. So, yeah.
Because they're contagious.
Right.
Is that right?
Well, Knox County, there's this, I forgot, well, I haven't been volunteering in a clinic in a couple of years, but there was a form that we would check the child, if the child had, and Knox County has this whole, when to send the child home.
Right.
So it's different now. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
It's above 99, it's not 99.
It should be 99.
No, it's like, I think 100
It
or
should be.
100.
100.2.
Oh, no, it's
Yeah.
not.
Does 100.4 sound closer? Yeah.
That's when you-
That's not, it
Yeah.
should be 99.
Because some kids just run higher.
But I also see a lot of places that do send kids home at 99 degrees.
They should.
So,
It's 100.4.
Well, yeah, because Knox County has this
Well,
whole
and plus we
thing.
take it,
If they have lice and all that.
I'm sending them home at 99.
well, another thing to look for too is this. If your child has a 99-degree fever and they're not acting themselves, you might want to keep them home. If they're out running around and doing all that stuff, they're probably all right. But if they're 99 degrees and they're just sitting over in the chair and how often do you see, I saw one 5-year-old in my 18 years sit in a chair and actually let me do vitals on him and not move. And that scared me because I've never seen a child do that before.
Wow.
So if your child is lethargic, if your child is just not up being active,
Not being a smart aleck.
yeah, keep them home. Don't send them to school. If they're vomiting, have diarrhea, or nauseated, well, obviously that should be, a key indicator. But heavy coughing or green or yellow nasal discharge, okay? Or as you said, boogers earlier. Sudden severe sore throat accompanied by high fever, swollen lymph nodes, tonsils, or white or yellow spots in the throat. Red and irritated eyes with the yellowish discharge. That's pink eye. We didn't even talk about that this morning, but that's another one that you want to make sure that you keep them at home. Undiagnosed rash, may be a symptom of an infectious disease such as measles, chickenpox, or impetigo. If your child has the sniffles but hasn't slowed down at home, chances are they're well enough for the classroom. On the other hand, if the child has been coughing all night and needs to be woken up in the morning, you want to keep them at home. And also look for signs of loss of appetite, clinginess, or sluggishness. Because, again, kids get clingy when they get sick, They just want to be right there with mom the whole time. If they complain of pain or just don't seem to be acting themselves, they should take a sick day. And that's all I got, guys.
See, the clinginess, I don't think about, and sometimes they don't even look sick, but I look back at some times that,
Right.
my younger one is like, what is wrong with him? And I do think he's just had a nondescript virus and probably a low-grade temperature. And I'm kind of, learning that. And Greg, I wanted to ask one more thing before you left.
Sure.
So, like if we have tons of people that come through sick and you guys are so close, what is your fee for, like, if we were
Just a walk-in?
A walk-in, yes.
Well, we take most kinds of insurance, but if somebody comes in and they don't have any insurance, we have a $175 flat fee. That covers any in-house labs. So if we do a blood count on you in-house, we do any x-rays on you in-house, that covers all of that. However, obviously if we have to send anything out to the lab, you're going to get a lab charge for that. But the $175 usually covers everything that we do. We try not to send out very much unless we're sending out the strep cultures, to have the throat cultures done for strep. We'll send out occasionally, we might send out some blood work depending on further testing that we may need to do. But the $175 generally covers everything that we do in-house. So,
Is that the first visit, or if you go back for a second visit, is it lower?
if you come back for a second visit within 10 days of your first visit, it's $50. So, for a repeat visit. So,
What are your hours?
we are open Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're open every day but Christmas.
Do you have doctors or nurse practitioners?
Physicians, yes. Yeah, the company actually has a couple of nurse practitioners. They're more in the rural areas where it's harder to put physicians. They'll usually put what we call mid-levels in those areas, the nurse practitioners or the physician's assistants. And I'm not sure what the laws in the state of Tennessee are. I know in Indiana, the NPs have to work very closely with the physicians, so I don't know if the PAs have to work very closely with the physicians. I don't know here if the PAs can work independently or if they have to have direct oversight or not.
And what are your hours, the hours of operation for the clinic?
8 to 6.
8 to 6?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Every day.
So you're open Sunday, 8 to 6?
We are open Sunday 8 to 6 too. So, and right now, real easy to get in. We're seeing maybe about, our biggest day so far, we saw 19 yesterday, so, in 10 hours. So we got plenty of room, plenty of hours for everybody to get in and see us if they need to. And like I said, we're always open. So, all right.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, guys,
I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate
Very
it.
nice.
Yeah. And if you guys have any other questions or anything, feel free to give us a call down there. We'll answer what we can, and if it sounds bad enough, we'll just have you come in and see us. All right.
You guys have some cards if you need it.
I didn't bring any with me though.
Okay.
But
I'll run down there.
I know you'll be
and
in
sign,
from time to time.
And then, I didn't know if there was like an information sheet on anything we could even, I'll be happy to, put that out
in the school?
in the school. I think it's just
Are you looking
good to
for-
have information.
Yeah, I'm sure there's things we can give you, yeah. We actually have a couple of cards that are informational. One actually talks about extra things that we do, which fall outside of the realm of the 175. So like if you break a leg and you need crutches, or we have to put a boot on you or something like that, that's going to be a little extra. We do actually do splinting in-house too. So that, I believe, falls within the 175. So if we splint you,
Fasting.
yes. Well, That's kind of what the splinting is. It's actually not full cast. We would actually send you to an orthopedist to do all that, so. Right, till you get you there.
But to go get a strep test, it's $175.
If you come see us, you see the doctor, we'll do a strep test. More than likely, we'll probably do a couple of different tests
Okay,
while you're there. But the
Okay.
175 will cover all that.
okay.
All right, awesome.